Aloha! You are listening to Inside the Desert Oasis Room, episode number 207. This episode is sponsored by the Tiki Bar T-Shirt Club, where their monthly T-shirt designs pay tribute to a Polynesian bar or restaurant from days long past. Each design is available for a limited time and will never be produced again. For the collectors out there, be sure to check out their subscription program, where they offer a discounted 3, 6, or 12-month plan, or you can always buy shirts one at a time. For more information and to check out this month's shirt, visit tikibartshirtclub.com. This podcast is sponsored by Frogtown Brewery, an independent craft brewery and tap room located in Northeast Los Angeles. Stop in and enjoy one of their excellent beers from their ever-changing, diverse menu. Tell them that Inside the Desert Oasis Room sent you and get your first pint on us. Limitations apply. For more information, go to frogtownbrewery.com and follow them on social media at Frogtown Brewery. Today we chat with Stefan Immke, executive producer of Squeezed Up, Tales of Polynesian Pop and Kustom Kulture. Squeezed Up documents an unforgettable road trip across Southern California, combining hot rodding, Polynesian pop, Tiki culture, and Kustom Kulture. On this episode, Stefan talks about traditional hot rodding, rattlesnake breeding, Tiki in Europe, and much, much more. As always, I hope you enjoy this episode as much as we did bringing it to you. If you'd like to follow our adventures, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Polynesian Pop, where we chronicle events, bars, travel spots, cocktail tutorials, and more. And if you enjoy this podcast, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Polynesian Pop, where membership grants you early access to podcasts and videos, front-of-the-line privileges to new merch releases like Tiki mugs and apparel, as well as exclusive content, meetups, and screen credits. Alrighty, pour yourself a cocktail and join us inside the Desert Oasis Room. And give it up for my friend, Stefan Immke.
Inside the Desert Oasis Room.
So I'm gonna make some Mai Tais.
It's nice.
I have this. Have you seen this? This is by Jeff Berry.
Ooh.
I'm gonna use that.
This is the Mai.
It's a Jeff Berry Mai Tai mix.
That's excellent. So
It's actually pretty good.
it's an orgeat substitute thing.
Yeah,
so
it has. I guess it has the orgeat and the curacao in it.
yeah. So
You just add the rum and the lime juice.
so then pretty much if you go by the denizen, then you only add one rum, one shot, one lime, and you're good to go.
There you
It's
go.
almost a premix.
Almost.
Almost. But
So
nothing.
we're gonna try it, and we're gonna see how you like it.
Nothing.
I actually like it pretty good.
Nothing beats fresh ingredients. That's why the lime is so hard to preserve in bottled cans.
Yeah, lime starts to oxidize after 15 minutes of being squeezed. So you have to. That's why it's always better when it's fresh.
Fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you done while you've been in town?
Making my trip around all the Oceanic Art events.
Right.
Pretty much. I went to the Reliability Run in Escondido.
Okay.
The guys were doing, so some of the hop-up guys and and the whole crowd of the Escondido hot rodders. So we went out for beautiful Easter Saturday ride, and of course another Oceanic Art event.
Yep.
And I need to get my house plannings done that we can run the construction permits. That we can run for the construction permits.
Okay.
So, and that's quite a couple of meetings. And I had several business meetings during my trip for customers.
Okay.
Because, yeah.
I don't think I know what you do for a living.
Oh, I'm a LED light engineer.
Oh.
So I am designing 3D modeling concepts for my customers to for their own brands.
Okay.
So you can buy my stuff in every Petco, PetSmart, or fish shop.
Okay.
And we do horticulture lighting projects.
Oh, horticulture lighting.
Yeah, mainly for cannabis and also for research, like universities and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm designing these fixtures, and I have a company, or my partner has. Oh, I got introduced to that brand from Marie. I love it.
Oh, good.
I love it.
I use. They used to be a sponsor on the podcast. They're not a sponsor anymore, but I still use them because they're number one because I have a lot of it still from when they were a sponsor. But it's a good workhorse rum. You'll see here. I'm gonna make this this Mai Tai with this, and you'll see. It's gonna be a very it'll have a very balanced flavor.
Yeah, usually I go with the Dores and the Dores for Barbados, and for the Jamaican rum with the Appleton.
So,
but that's just mine.
I'm curious how it's, here in the States, we don't have the same accessibility to some rums as you do in Germany. We don't get any of the Cuban rums here.
Yeah, but to be honest, that's a vice versa problem because we get...
I guess what I was going to ask is it doesn't matter. Like when you come here, do you notice the difference with cocktails? Do you say this needs a Cuban rum?
No, because you know why? Cuban rum is very less involved in classic tiki cocktails.
Oh, okay.
So, and when you make your own rum, when you make your own cocktail, who cares?
Right.
Because then it's just what you did. So, if you look at the Beach Bum Berry book, you will not even find one recipe where Cuban rum is involved, or I may be wrong, but I don't think there are so many recipes with Cuban rum. Let me check. That says everything.
Okay. Gold Cuban rum is generic for the light-bodied aged brown rums from Cuba, designed for mixing.
Just read the top line.
Gold Cuban rum. This ingredient is specified in 0 recipes. Okay. So we don't have to worry about it.
Exactly, we don't have to worry about it. That's why, to me, cocktails in the States and in Europe doesn't taste so different. But I have to say that the quality of your lime is way better than our quality of lime.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Because these guys didn't travel so long.
Right, right.
They were just around the corner,
Right,
pretty much
right,
with a half day of traveling.
Well, there we go. Cheers.
Thank you.
Let's see how you like it.
It's fully different to my Mai Tai.
Okay.
Yours is a lot sweeter.
Okay. This is... I didn't add any sugar.
No.
I just followed the directions.
And but it is super creative, and mine is a lot more sour.
More tart. Okay. Do you want me to put more?
No, it's perfect
Okay.
the way it is. I love variations, don't get me wrong. But if I follow Beach Bum Berry, I use the Appleton, the Dores. I have the Clément orange liquor, which is the triple sec, which I love. And I have the sugar also from Clément. It's
Okay.
brown sugar
That's
syrup.
that's what you use for the syrup. And then for orgeat,
I do it by myself.
you make your own orgeat. Okay.
So because we can only buy orgeat, it doesn't l- last too long in the fridge.
Yeah.
So there's no point for me to bring it over from the States because
Okay.
I pour 2/3 of the bottle just in the sink.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's overdue, and I make my own one with amaretto
Oh, interesting.
and plus the almond fresh almond milk.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine is even roasting bitter almonds, which are considered as toxic.
Okay.
You can kill somebody
Oh.
if you have an overdose of the bitter almond. So they need to be fermented in a way.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
tobacco a little bit.
Okay.
And and then he's processing it and he's really cooking.
Wow.
And he do that every 2-3 months, and then he gives me a call and say, "You want to come over for a drink?" And
Right.
okay, we have a drink together, and then he gives me the bottle and say, "Have fun, see you next time."
There you go.
That's
There you
that's
go.
a little bit our little tiki thing we are doing, and
Yeah.
not so many people in Europe, but we will come to that point a little
Oh.
bit later. So
I still haven't made my own orgeat. I should try it, but I still haven't done it.
it's not so difficult, and
Right.
it's a way more fresh.
Right.
And I go with the orange blossom water.
Yeah, I have orange blossom water. I've also heard the trick with the almond milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, it works fine.
Okay.
And if I go to Trader Vic's, and if I taste the Trader Vic's Mai Tai, and if I taste my Mai Tai, I would say I'm super close. And also, when Shane went over and I gave him my Mai Tai, he said, I mean, maybe honor to me, just to be polite, but I don't think so. He loved it. So
I'm sure it's good. I'd
But-
love to try it.
Mai Tai, if you go to Bali High,
Oh, they're-
probably my last decision to order a Mai Tai because it's simply not my taste.
Their Mai Tai's horrible.
Thank you. But I don't know why they sell so many. Look at their board, whatever.
But you know what?
1,
Because
2,
I-
3 million.
I think most people that go there don't know. That's my theory. The tiki people is not the majority of their customer.
No.
So I think the majority of their customer just doesn't know.
Right.
So they just drink it because they taste how strong it is and they get drunk and I think it's horrible.
I'm 100% with you. It's you are good friends with Tiki T? Or another question, is there a way to become good friends with the Tiki T guys?
Yeah, you just have to go there.
No,
regularly.
I mean also you guys hang out private?
Yeah. I'm very close with the family there.
That's nice.
They're very good
That's
friends.
nice. That's really honor to you.
Yeah, it is. And so they're a sponsor on the podcast, and they've done some. They provide me with merch to sell, to generate revenue, and they provided me content during COVID when no one's going anywhere, and I'm trying to create content. They came here and they recorded maybe a half dozen cocktail videos for my channel. Yeah, so they gave up some recipes for my channel, and they've just been really good to me. I would do my mug releases there, and they would sponsor cocktails. They would do cocktail specials.
Yeah.
They work with my sponsors to create cocktails with their products, and I've gone to birthday parties there, when senior has birthdays or when they have gatherings at their homes. I've been fortunate enough to be included, so they're very good to me.
because maybe if you are around, I would love if you can mention, but I'm not so close that I feel like
that you could say anything. Yeah,
no, I will not. And I mean, I'm still honored that they have my mug on display there.
It's right in the center.
Yeah, now it becomes really famous.
Yeah.
So
well, a lot of people ask about it because number one, it's different. No one's seen it before.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of them, and number two, it has the 61.
Exactly.
Which you explained to me was the year of your car, right?
No, it was the year the previous owner was born.
Oh, the year the previous owner was born. So let's tell that story because I asked you about the 61 and the tire.
Yeah.
So that's a car that you have. It's based on the car that you have.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I had a chance to buy a dirt track race car from a guy here in California, which had a lot of racing history. And we do in Germany some dirt track racing, which is just traditional. So just to keep up a little bit of an introduction to the Tiki community, it's everything what happened before NASCAR. At the old days, they run on the beach, they go back on just a dusty road, and then they started to become a little bit more civilized and made an oval, which is a quarter mile, pretty much.
So you guys were also racing on the beach?
Yes, we have several beach racing events, like you guys have in Wildwood on the East Coast.
Right.
And there were some events going on at Pismo Beach, and we have one in Denmark, and also one event, a beach race event in England. But this is more related to hot rods.
Right.
But the real dirt track race, so we go with much higher speed, and we go on previous speedway tracks, which is a quarter mile. And it's just our tribute to the heritage and where it all began with the oval racing.
Okay.
So, and this car is specially made for that track. And I was thinking about, what can we do? And, but you know, there's a lot of drift involved in that type of racing, so you are pretty much sidewinding.
Yeah.
And I love
So
snakes.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah. So you're drifting, and it's
Yeah,
pretty much
yeah,
like
yeah.
the sidewinder snake who making his
Yeah,
way through the dunes with a special pattern. These guys are leaving in the sand, and so. And there's also a special pattern I leave in the sand.
Right.
Or in the dirt with my car. So I thought that's a matchy thing. And I should probably go. And also, you also don't know, I'm pretty much involved with reptiles. And it's
I didn't know
part
that.
of my business. And
Really?
Yeah, I was breeding snakes and also rattlesnakes for quite a long time. This is not so normal in America. But in Germany, you don't even need it in the old days, a permit just to do it. So
I didn't even know there's rattlesnakes in Germany.
Oh, not in nature, but in captivity. You can buy pretty much everything.
So you can buy a rattlesnake?
Yeah, your Western Diamondback, which is
Wow.
common, your Eastern Diamondback, all the tropical rattlesnakes.
I don't think we sell rattlesnakes here in America.
No, it's forbidden.
Yeah.
It's forbidden to have them in captivity. Yeah.
So even in Germany, it's
No,
it's
you
forbidden.
have to get registered. It depends from state to state. Some you need to get registered, some it's forbidden, some you need an extra permit,
Right.
like a conservation permit that you can prove you really do your breeding because you would like to conserve the species.
Oh,
So,
okay. I was
and
going to say,
stuff like this.
what's the point of having a rattlesnake? That seems like a dangerous pet.
It is, but you know, driving a car is also dangerous,
Sure.
and going to a motocross event or driving a motocross bike is also dangerous.
Yeah.
And everything is dangerous, but if you know how to do it, and you see me here, I'm live in front of you. I still have 10 fingers,
so still all there.
I can move, so I never get bitten, and that's the same. If you crash your motorcycle or if you crash your car, you have a problem.
So, are you actually driving the cars?
Yes,
You are.
I drive all my cars, and of course,
really?
I have my.
And then you have a team.
Yeah, it's called the Sidewinder Racing Team.
Yeah.
So I try to keep it a little bit updated in social media,
Okay.
that people can follow it up. But it's more a sportsman event. It's not really on high competition. So we just, if you're a winner or loser, after a beer, everything is fine.
Everything is okay, yeah.
So
it's more for sport than...
It's sportsman.
Yeah.
It's really sportsman. And that's what I love. And it's all paying tribute on the heritage.
Right.
It's not this all new sports regulation where it's all on the edge and it's also super tight, and it's just we are there because we're having fun, and which is also for me a part of let's say Ohana and Tiki, and just to have it all together. But back to the snake. So here's my thing. I'm involved with my snake hobby. I'm actually doing.
That's crazy. I never knew that.
I'm manufacturing special lights for reptiles.
For reptiles.
That's a main part of my business.
Okay.
So, and I like snakes. Not everybody do, but that's my thing. And I like the dirt track racing thing, especially for the old days. And so I said, the child needs a name.
Yeah. So it fits.
It fits.
It fits because you're a snake. You're a snake wrangler or a snake
keeper or
keeper. Yeah. Breeder.
Yeah.
And then you're a racing fanatic also.
Exactly.
So Sidewinder race. Do you have a Sidewinder snake?
I had.
Did?
Actually, I bred a lot Sidewinders.
Okay.
They are super tiny. If you ever saw them in the wild, it's not a big snake.
I've never seen it in person in the wild, but I've seen it on TV, right? Yeah. Where the way that they move, they're moving sideways. Yeah.
Exactly. It's jung jung jung. It's just
get
to as less touch with the sand, not to get burnt.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If they stay too long, they just get burned.
Okay, so
yeah, and the owner of this car, the previous owner, was born in 1961. That's why he said it might be fancy to have the number 61. And because of all this heritage with the car and everything, yes, I repainted it by Mr. G and Makoto. They're both very,
Mr.
very...
G from Japan.
Both
very talented.
Very famous tiki artists. I mean, Mr. G did some of the most iconic tiki pinstripes and paintings in Japan.
I have some of his tiki mugs. Yeah. He signed my book also, the Book of Tiki.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And I think honor to him.
Yeah.
Both are very, very, very great artists.
Yeah.
And they are supported by Nash. And Nash,
Nash.
Bring them all over the place.
Nash is another big hot rod name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and he's running the Burnout magazine.
Yeah.
It's a very small thing for those guys who feel they need to get closer. There's a shop called Cools in little Tokyo, downtown LA.
Okay.
That runs these magazines and have them on display. So for the dirt track, I said, okay, I keep the 61. Makoto and Mr. G were around in Europe. We were traveling. I said, come on, guys, let's do a fancy weekend. We make a little bit of Kustom Kulture thing, and you paint my car, and we have an open house at my house, so everybody can come, and whoever wants to have a pinstripe, then you just interrupt your work, and you just do it, and whatever, and you know, these guys love Wiener Schnitzel, and we always gave them Wiener Schnitzel, and they were so happy, and they were working the hell out of this car, and finally the result came really cool. But again, to honor and respect to the previous owner, I kept the 61.
Sure.
So, okay, done. Then there was a guy, and you are maybe familiar with Andrew Cook from Cookie Tiki from Ireland.
Yeah.
And I met him at a show, and I said, I wonder if you can do me a mug. And he said, oh, yeah, well, what's your idea? I say, I don't have a real idea, but I have something in my mind. Let's talk with my friend. My friend, Andy, you know, the guy who also went with me for the Squeezed Up movie and the book.
Andy Schmidt.
Andy Schmidt.
Yeah.
And
I don't think he remembers me.
Of course, he remembers you.
I don't think he remembers me.
He remembers you.
Okay.
He's just a little bit too...
He's a tattoo artist.
He is a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
And he's doing new school and old school tattooing.
Okay.
And I said, you know, I have an idea. I love snakes. I love dirt track racing. But I also love tiki mugs. How about we throw this together? And he said, no way, this will never work out.
Yeah.
I said, okay, how about we make a tire and... The snake is just winding around the tire like
the
he's
sidewinder,
driving the sidewinder guy,
yeah.
like he's driving the tire.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of dust and dirt involved, and we just make this fancy dust cloud.
Yeah.
And then we make it all a little wider that some juice and booze will fit into, and we are good. Well, let me work on it. One day later, he had finished that thing, and it blows me away.
Oh, really?
And it just popped out of his brain because it was all so cool and logic.
Do you have any tattoos?
No.
Oh, you need to have that.
I'm probably...
Because he drew it, right? For
course,
the idea. So you got to have that one.
Yeah, maybe the Sidewinder thing would be cool.
That would be cool.
So, and then Andrew made the mug, and, you know, I'm super big fan of Tiki Tea since forever.
Yeah.
And I love to go whenever I'm around in LA area. And so we were hanging on the bar, and it was a little bit low on that day. It was in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
And we were just talking and said, you guys, it's very hard for me to bring my mug always over because I'm so feared to break it and stuff.
Right.
And they said, you know what? If you have a cool mug, we probably can think about it. And the next time I brought over my 61 Sidewinder racing mug, and they put it in the shelf. And I said, because
in
it's
the center?
Different. No, not in the center yet, because, come on, you have to make your way up at
It's in the center now.
It's in the center now, and there's a reason. They hold it for me, even during all these lockdown things, and really I have to say thank you in all the ways. And whenever I come, they remember my mug, and I come quite often normally.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm really a regular customer to them.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not living in LA.
Yeah.
And after lockdown, I started my traveling, and I came to Tiki Tea and said, why is my mug in the middle of the shelf?
Yeah.
And then Mike comes over to me. You know what's going on? I say, no, but there's something weird going on. Why is my mug in the middle of your shelf? I mean, it's just a normal mug. It's a cool mug, but why? He said, you know, we have the 61st anniversary.
Yeah.
This year, and your number is the 61,
right?
Which is my starting number.
And not only is it the 61st this year, the bar was opened in 1961.
So
in
it's
61,
a double meaning behind it.
Yeah.
That's why it's even so special.
But it's been there for at least the past year.
Yeah.
Because people ask me.
Yeah.
Because I'm there every week, so people will say, "Hey, do you know that mug right there? Who did that mug?" Like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And I tell them, oh, that's my friend's mug, Stefan. He's from Germany. And Sidewinder Racing, blah, blah, blah. And they say, wow, how do I get one? I tell them, you ain't going to get one now. They're all gone. And then they ask me, do you have one? I was like, yep. Of course I have one.
Yeah.
So,
I think
by the way, thank you.
No.
Thank you so much for that.
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
So,
I also have one of yours, and you know.
Yeah, and you have a color that was actually never produced.
Yeah.
That was just a test glaze. That was an AP.
Yeah. And you have a mug which runs in, I think it was a total of produced 35.
Yeah, see, I thought it was 40. I told people there's only 40 pieces.
No, I think it's
so
even,
now it's even less.
It's even 35. So there are not so many out in the wild and in existence. So it's a quite collectible mark.
Very collectible.
And I love the style and I love the difference. And it's also in my meaning. I mean, you can do tiki, and I'm really deeply involved into tiki, same like you. I mean, for you, it's your life.
My whole life.
But not everybody is so lucky like you, to be honest. And you have your normal daily work, and I have my cars on top of it, and but also I have my tiki. And based on the Squeezed Up movie we did, and also with the book we released at the beginning of 2020.
Right. Right before pandemic.
Right before pandemic, so we hit a little hole. Yeah. But we still had a good start.
You
and
did.
It's going on.
And I believe you're going to be going on a book signing soon for that.
Yes.
So you're going to revive that book tour and promoting the book and the DVD again, which I want to tell our listeners about, and I'll make sure to include links in the description for everything. So everybody that's out there that's listening to this, they can see what we're talking about. Really great movie where you traveled in your hot rod to visit tiki spots.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
I was honored to be included in one of those stops.
Yeah.
And got to jump in the car. Oh, by the way, so for our listeners that don't know, I had one of your hot rods here for a couple weeks. So put it in the garage. We put my wife's car on the driveway, right? So I said, I need the space. And so she's like, okay, so it's going to be my friend's hot rod, and it's worth a lot of money. It's perfect, so it's a show car. So she's like, okay, we'll put my car in there. So she gracefully offered her space, right?
Yeah.
Because I have my Speedster there.
Yeah, which is not
going
ride.
outside either.
No, it
right?
should not.
So we put her car outside, and so I had the two cars in the garage for a while. My neighbors were asking me when the garage door would open. They're asking me, "Oh, you got a new car?" So because the guy across the street, he's a car guy too, but he's a different kind of car guy. So he owns a towing company.
Oh.
And so he tows cars all the time, and sometimes people don't pick up their cars.
Oh.
So he ends up possessing them, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a classic car. Sometimes it's not even a classic car that's like a show car, but it's an older car, but he knows the value of some of them, and so he will keep some of them for himself and turn them into car projects. And so he knows his cars. So when he saw your hot rod, he said, "Oh, you got a highboy?" Because it's they call that a highboy, right?
They call it a highboy.
Yeah. So he said, "You got a highboy?" And I said, "Yeah, I can't really talk about it."
For an upcoming project.
Right.
Yeah, and we had a very nice premiere at a Kustom Kulture show in Finland, in Helsinki. My friend Plato is running. And once we planned to come over for the premiere here in the States, we got pretty much all locked down. So
right. Oh, man, the timing.
The timing was really bad. So I would say we don't even continue. Pretty much we are starting now promoting the book and also the movie. And there are many spaces and places where it will be available. And I will be doing book signings from now on quite frequently.
So keep in touch with me about that, because I'll help you promote that.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
We'll tell all our listeners. And if I can do a vlog at one of these signings where maybe you'll have one of the cars, I'd love to do a video with you.
That will be possible.
Yeah, and I'll help you promote that. So, number one, I'm flattered to have been included in a stop. Number two, I'm flattered to have been included in the video. Number three, I'm flattered to have been included in the book. So thank you.
Yeah, but if we are talking tiki, and if we are talking really keep Ohana and tiki alive, you are the digital center and converter to all the outside, and for all the people who just have their daily life and business and bring their tiki to their homes with your beautiful podcasts and exciting stories. And that's why we also feel really pleased that we had the chance to have this super cool interview and welcome at your
Well,
at
when
your
it was
tiki
fun
bar.
too. So we had
come on.
we had you, we had Shane, we had Dirk, Andy Schmidt,
Andy Schmidt,
and who's your mechanic?
Torsten, and the firefighter, and Matze.
Matze. Yeah.
That was the wild bunch we were carrying around, and the only story we want to tell is pretty much life is not consuming. Life is also conserving and preserving and respecting the past, and it's not going forward. It's a lot of friendship is involved, and also a friendship is involved. To be honest, to make a book like this and to make a trip like this, because it wasn't easy to drive around more than 1,500 miles in an old car and see all the places. And
I remember photos of the car being broke down on the side of the road.
That's
with Matze.
That happened.
Fixing it on the side of the road.
Exactly.
And here's what's interesting. So I learned this from Shane. There's the whole purist aspect of that culture, and he says, some people are very strict about the purism of this era, that they won't even use modern tools to work on these cars.
That's how it is.
They will only use period correct tools, so that they're really replicating that experience.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm having my mechanic here. That's Jay Dean from Nostalgia Ranch, and if you look at his shop, you will not find so many modern tools. Right. It's pretty much all.
You're really living the lifestyle of that era.
Yeah, and also he says, before I sandblast something and destroy, I sand it by hand.
Yeah.
I say, what? I bet that takes you 2 more days. Yeah, but see the result, because we are preserving. We cannot throw away that stuff because it's not available anymore. So that's also, and that's for me also, things coming together, and you have to have your mindset. So I cannot do tiki all the time, but I can still live my tiki life the way I would like to live. And tiki also means primitive lifestyle. Come on, that's what we all love.
Well, there's also that tiki crossover, right? Because when you look at that era, that's the golden age of tiki from that era, which is I'm someone that is an enthusiast of, right? I love the current subculture that we're enjoying, but I also celebrate what used to be the original Don the Beachcomber, the original Trader Vic's, the original Luau, Steve Crane's Luau, and Kontiki Ports and all of that kind of stuff, because that's really the originators, right? That's where it all started. And that older style with the no TVs, the no windows, the no clocks, the classic cocktails. They're not lighting anything up with LEDs. They're not lighting anything up with, these fake animatronics. Yeah. It was very classic. I'm really more an enthusiast of that. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with what's happening today, because I do enjoy it. I'm at all the events. I'm in all the bars, right? We enjoy it, right? And you don't drive your hot rods every day. You drive a modern car. You probably drove a modern car here today.
Yeah, that's sadly but possible.
But I mean, so we also live in the present, but I like to celebrate what once was.
Exactly, and if I remember my last Saturday, which was Easter Saturday, and we went for a roundup trip with at least 40 hot rods for 6 hours.
All traditional hot rods.
All traditional hot rods. Nobody above 39 build age was allowed.
Wow.
So there was nothing. Even our service car was old.
Wow. So 39 and older.
Gas and tools and stuff, and you didn't found any electric tool, and it was all.
Wow.
And it started in an old barn. And
what do you do about parts that are no longer being produced? You just have to look for it.
You just have to look for it, or you need to know an old guy who's able to operate a CNC.
And then you make it.
Yeah, and then we make it.
Okay. But that's still because it's considered a new part on an old car.
Oh, yeah, but then it is.
You don't really
as it
have a
is.
choice. You don't have a choice if that's
but
what you have to do.
If you do it in the old way, then I think it's still acceptable. But
Okay.
If you do your whatever roadster new and with a modern engine and with disc brakes and not drum brakes, and this is
So
that's
no
not,
no
that's,
3D printing a part.
Exactly. No. There's definitely absolutely zero 3D printing involved. I got you. No,
Right.
That's right.
Okay.
But yeah, some parts are even not available. But most of the critical parts are not visible. It's just some stuff you don't see anyway. So I think that's okay. But of course, we do everything to find and dig out stuff wherever we can.
You do that first. That's the
You
first
have
thing.
to.
Yeah.
But even if you build your hot rod, it's still going on collecting parts and collecting
Right.
pieces. It's pretty much like building your tiki bar. So
Right.
you start building, you have something in your mind, but you keep on going because you always see, oh, there's something missing, and I need a float. I need a nice
Sure.
pendant
And when you're
light
doing that, and like what I do here, I try to stay vintage.
yes.
Try to stay original.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not everything is vintage in this room, but I do my best to have something here that's really for me. I'm only speaking for myself, so I don't get like hate comments. But for me, I always want to try to find something with pedigree. This lamp came from Trader Vic's. This nautical bell came from the Luau, or this came from Don the Beachcomber. I'm the same way with tiki mugs. I prefer and enjoy the vintage more than I enjoy the newer stuff because it just has that history. And that's, again, speaking just for myself. So
No, it's for me. It's absolutely acceptable. If you look at the old cars, they were all running by 6 volt.
are you
power.
running 6 volts too?
This is really not recommended because
I had to upgraded my speedster from 6 volt to 12 volt.
me too. You know why? Because you have a much brighter spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
So
Headlights.
You have much brighter headlights, and the instruments are running a lot more stable.
Sure.
And you have just less issues because
Yeah.
your overall ampere, your
Yeah.
current is just way lower. So you can also go lower with your cable thickness, and there are a lot of benefits. And that's you can have a vintage tiki lamp, but to have it with a normal incandescent light bulb, maybe it gets so hot and it's aging and it's not so cool and performing. And for me, that's also a thing.
That's why this room gets warm.
Yeah.
Because the only LED bulb in this room is this one right above me for the bar.
Yeah.
Because it gets really hot with the 3 incandescent bulbs. But so to me, again, I'm only speaking for myself.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to replicate what Don and Vic and all those guys, Steve Crane and all those guys did, they didn't have LED bulbs back then. So I don't put LED bulbs in my bar. And when I look at a bar that has LED bulbs, it doesn't look right to me. I liken it to you looking at a classic hot rod with billet wheels. Mm-hmm. It may look cool at first glance, but right away you're going to be like, that doesn't match. That's how I feel about lighting in modern bars.
I got you, and I am also running diagonal tires and not radial tires.
I was going to ask you about the tires.
This is really all traditional, but for my bar, which is also very traditional with Witco, and I'm really a great mug collector, and I have my mug collection, and I have a lot of Witco pieces and vintage tikis and everything. I really stepped over that point. That's a no-go for you.
Okay.
And added LED in it.
Okay.
Just to create a different theme.
And that's
also
okay.
to show some special effects.
That's okay, because that's the world we live in now.
And
along that line, so I'm going to say this to you. So my Speedster, I upgraded from drum brakes to disc brakes.
Here we are.
And then I upgraded the mechanical fuel pump to an electric fuel pump. And then, like I said, I upgraded from 6 volt to 12 volt. I upgraded to pointsless ignition.
But that doesn't ruin the car because nobody sees it. You just make a reliable car out of it. So it's still the original steel. It's still everything. So and that's what I mean. You still have your original Tiki lamp, but in the way, because with all the less heat and the more comfort and controllability, it's maybe really a cool thing to add some LED.
And controllability is a key word, because with drum brakes, my car was scary. Because modern cars, you always cut me off to make a right-hand turn.
Yeah.
They would always cut me off and then hit their brakes to make a right-hand turn.
Yeah.
And my car doesn't stop very fast with drum brakes.
No,
it takes me a long time to stop.
Yeah.
And it used to really piss me off. So once I put the disc brakes on there, oh man, what a difference.
Yeah, that's right. But on the racetrack, for the 61, we are not allowed to drive by disc brakes. We all have...
Right, everybody has to do drums. Everybody. So it's traditional.
Yeah, so if it comes all to worse, we still have the ramp as a braking space, or the neighbor's car as a braking...
Or neighbor's car!
as a braking spot, but it's racing, come on. That's life. I just would like to say, respect the tradition, and if you hop up a little bit, and parts and pieces, it can add a huge benefit to your car. Yeah. And you save overheating. Also we have high flammable material.
Yeah.
And the old traditional light bulbs get pretty hot.
Yeah.
So if we run it with LED, and there's really cool stuff out on all the...
Well, that's why it gets warmer in here, because I don't put the LED. But I do like when you said respect their tradition. I like that. That's it. If you just boil it down to that, respect their tradition.
Yeah.
I like that.
And this gives me all this big picture of my life, and maybe I'm working in the LED industry, but on the other side I need my pole, I need my opposite pole to calm down, and that's why I love hot rodding, I love Tiki, and I love all this vintage and heritage stuff, and I do everything, and me, to preserve it, and this keeps me so calm, and
this is your happy place.
That's my happy place, and exactly, and the people are around me, but the center is always Tiki. Because after driving and after a long day, you sit in your Tiki bar, and you have your Ohana back, and that means a lot to me, and that's why Tiki is so important for my life. It's not everything, but it's an important it's an important rest. It's an important
I love it.
Spot.
I love it.
That's just my point of view.
I want to ask you about that, because coming from Germany, how did you find Tiki? Because here in America, that was just always something that was part of our landscape in the past 70, 80, 90 years.
Yeah.
But Germany, it seems so far away. And what's interesting to me is, we had Sven Kirsten from Germany. He comes here and he notices all of this Tiki stuff, and he writes this book about it. And then Jochen Hirschfeld from Munich comes here, and he sees all this stuff, and he wasn't even friends with Sven yet when he started filming his movie about Tiki. We get blind to it because we see it every day. How is it for you? How did you discover this? Was it also coming here to the States?
Not necessary. So I have to say, I have to thank Sven.
Oh, Sven. Okay.
And not Sven in person, because at that time I didn't met him. It was I had my key issue. I had, during my 30s year of my life, it was all a little bit screwed up, not so really successful, and but anyway, I had my birthday, so I invited some friends, and then we went downtown and just to have a drink in a couple of bars. And I was stopping by, and I really get focused for whatever reasons I still don't know, at the Taschen bookstore, because not what everybody knows is that Taschen is located in Cologne in Germany. It's a German publisher, a book publisher who publishes international books for all types of interests.
Okay.
And I saw that Book of Tiki. It was just...
Yeah, because they published Book of Tiki. And the thing about Taschen is they also have a store out here somewhere.
In L.A.
And they have fascinating books.
Exactly.
Really, really interesting publishing.
All over the place, whatever your interest, if it's architecture, sports, cars,
but it's
nature,
always
art.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting, and I think that's a publisher. They're really able to go niche.
Right.
Really dig in.
That's a great description, niche.
Yeah, and dig in that thing, and that makes them special. And also, when some publishers don't want to take the risk, they take the risk. Maybe it fails, maybe it will be a winner, but they don't care, because overall they are really very successful. But anyway, it's a German publisher located in Cologne. I live in Cologne, so we have our flagship store of Taschen there.
Okay.
And I was just get attracted by the Book of Tiki.
Yeah, you just saw it on the shelf.
I couldn't wait until the shop was reopened, because it was on a weekend.
Oh, wow.
And in Germany we have this ability that all shops are closed on Sunday.
Okay.
So nobody can go shopping on Sunday.
Lucky for you guys. Well, lucky for the people that are working on Sundays.
Exactly, but not
for you as a consumer.
When my friends from the States traveling to Germany and visiting us, and they say, "Oh, come on, it's Sunday. Let's go some shopping. I have this on my list." Say, "Nope. It's all closed." What is going on? So that happens in Germany like this. And anyway. On Monday, I rushed in that shop and at the Taschen bookstore and get my Book of Tiki, and I rest assured and leaned back and said, "What's that?
Yeah,
what's that? This is incredible."
Yeah,
and from that time, Tiki was my thing.
Yeah,
and then everything went good. For some reasons, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just had a not very successful time during that period of time, and so I was alone, and after this book, it changed my perspective, I have to say, and I really have to say thanks to Sven.
Yeah,
and I didn't know him.
He changed my life with this book. Yeah, completely.
Mine, and that's what I also tell you. He really changed my life. My whole point of view and my whole view of my surrounding and environment.
Yes.
And then I quit my apartment and I decided to relocate. Oh, and then I found my new girlfriend, which is now my wife.
Yes. Tell her I said hello, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. And, okay, then things went better, and we get together, and we really fall in love, and I love her forever and today, and, you know, it's just, we are settled so deep.
Yeah.
And then I told her one day, "Would you like to marry me?" She says, "Yes, of course. It's cool. Let's do it."
Yeah.
"But where?" And she said, how about we get married in Hawaii? I say, okay.
Tough choice, right?
It's a good idea. Maybe we disappoint a little bit our family, but our friends.
Right.
But we cannot have two parties because this will be too expensive. But anyway, we can combine our marriage and honeymoon together and just hang around and have a good time. Let's get married. And I also have to say for the Germans, if you get married in Hawaii, it's official accepted by the German government. It's not like a wedding in Vegas. You have to remarry when you are back. So it was not a show marry, it was a real marry
real.
by law and by love.
Okay.
And then obviously when you fly from Germany to Hawaii, you need to stop over. So we did our first stopover in LA, and you know, it was in 2004, and internet was kind of okay, but not everybody was there. And, we found there's a company, it's called Oceanic Arts.
Oh, yes.
What are they doing?
Love
they
it.
have tropical decor, and we looked at the map. And if you are a foreigner and you look, okay, we are at LAX and we need to go to Whistler, that's a way.
Yeah, it's about, from LAX, it's about an hour.
Yeah, it's about an hour.
Yeah.
So, and I think at that day, we even went there by taxi. Really, no expenses spent
from LAX
to go to that place. And our first touchdown at LAX was the Purple Orchid. And I really need to thank you, the Purple Orchid, for getting us in touch. And that was actually the first tiki bar we really visited in real life.
Did you notice? Did you go into the men's room?
Probably yes, but I don't know what you mean.
In the men's room, when the Book of Tiki first came out, the owner of Purple Orchid cut out every page.
Oh, they plastered it.
And he made a wallpaper out of it.
Yeah.
In the men's room.
Yeah, that's what I noticed, right?
Yeah.
And we were wondering, and we said, oh, a Purple Orchid, or maybe you come in a tropical paradise.
Right.
No, we came in a tiki bar, nice setup, but also with just a regular neighborhood crowd. And that makes it so interactive.
Yeah.
Because as a tiki people, you should not judge about others who will be or who try to be connected into tiki or just enjoy a night at a tiki bar, you know? Because every tiki bar will not ever survive with tiki guys only. They also need their just normal crowd and neighborhood crowd to be open up and running.
Right.
So, and back to that thing, our target was we must go to Oceanic Arts. That seems to be the holy grail of tiki, and maybe we will find something.
Right.
So we two went up the stairs, and pretty much standing in a warehouse.
Yeah.
And couldn't hold our breath and was just what's up? And then there was a guy, his name is Bob, come over and said, hey guys, what's up? I said, oh, this is our story. We are on our way to get married in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Let me show you around, and this is this, and this is that. And so if you don't mind, we will just probably ask some stupid questions.
Sure.
But we are not, which is normal for you, but it's all new for us. And he introduced it to us, and finally we took a picture. And for whatever reasons, we went to his green folder, Bob's green Oceanic Arts folder, as two members of the Tiki tribe. And he gave us the blessings for the marriage in Hawaii. And you see my voice is changing. I'm having a hard time telling this. And it goes so deep to me. And that's all.
That's great.
And we get the blessings from Bob when we went to Hawaii. And then like pretty much everybody, we've landed in Hawaii and we made this fancy Dole pineapple trip with this little train around the plantation. And on our way back, there was a guy, an older guy, who was just carving tikis, and he said, "No, we stopped by and said, you have beautiful tikis, but." Is it possible to get a personalized carving because we get married in 5 days? And he said, yes, of course. That's no problem. Say, oh, what's the price? And you want a deposit? He said, don't worry about that.
Sure.
I don't need a deposit. I know you will return.
Oh, that's nice.
And he carved us. I have to give you a picture of it.
Okay.
Actually, we're still having our Hawaii marriage shrine at our house. And he carved us the tikis from hibiscus.
Yes.
Hibiscus wood.
Okay.
And the hibiscus wood is varying in the color toning. So it goes from dark color to
a light color.
To a lighter color.
There's
And-
tikis like that at Oceanic Arts.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yes,
Yeah.
I noted that.
Yeah.
So this is all hibiscus wood, and not everybody knows that, but of course you know that, but you are into that.
Sure.
It's just it's a very nice side effect if you carve from this wood. So we paid him off. He gave us one as a blessing, and we picked up the tikis, and this guy was crying.
Wow.
It went so deep to him, and it went so deep to us, and then we had this beautiful wedding at Makena Beach with an old Hawaiian
So you went
Christian
to
priest.
Maui then?
Yes,
Okay.
with an old Hawaiian Christian priest,
Uh-huh.
a real Hawaiian dude
Yeah.
with a strong voice, with a strong sound, and it was perfect.
Wow.
And yeah, I have to say, I love my wife Katrine since that day. And even if you have a hard day, you still remember it, and it keeps us together forever.
I love it.
And that's pretty much my story about Tiki and where it all comes together. And Tiki changed my life.
I love it.
And I have to thank really Sven for all his research and work, what he did with his American friends, and we saw that at the Oceanic Arts presentation.
Yes.
And we are not talking about 100-year expedition and history. The way Tiki we are living Tiki right now is not very old.
Yeah.
But now it's on us not to become mainstream and still have
Maintain the tradition.
exactly, and don't lose the perspective
Yeah.
of Tiki,
Yeah.
and just say, well, I do Tiki. No, you have to live Tiki first, and then you can do Tiki.
Right.
And
Right.
this makes it so special to me.
I love that. I love that. That's
And-
such a great story. One of the things that I'm curious when you're telling me this story is how often do Germans travel to Hawaii? Is this something that is, this must have been, because Germany and Hawaii is on the other side of the world from each other.
Not really very often, I have to say.
So this was a really special trip then.
No, this was so special
Very
that
special. Yeah.
it got so high attention. I mean, for the Southern California guys, that's maybe more normal to
Sure.
have a trip to Hawaii. But even if
Yeah,
you,
it's only 5 hours.
Yeah,
5-hour flight.
But if you ask a guy from the East Coast how often you travel to Hawaii, they say never.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
It's twice as far.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, when I drive to Northern California, I spend more time on the road driving there than I do actually flying to Hawaii. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
No, for us it was really super special, and we are talking 2004.
Okay.
Traveling was still okay, but we got our trip on a travel guide.
Yeah,
And you need to go to a travel agency because
you still had to then. Yeah,
there was no reservations on internet, and your rental car was not bookable with an app. And to be honest, my photos there were all made with an analog camera.
Right.
Not even digital cameras were available at that time.
Yeah.
So we are everything becomes so normal today. You have your mobile phone with you, and you can do from your hotel reservation to your car reservation to your
everything,
flight booking, and to your Uber ride, and you can take beautiful pictures in these days, and you have everything available on that little thing.
Right.
2004, this was not normal.
It was different.
So for us, it was really a lot of preparation to go for this trip, and we did not know what we really expect get there. And also we need to apply for a permit in Germany.
Oh, that's right. It's different because it's an international.
No. I mean for the marriage.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we need a kind of apostille.
Yeah.
That means we get sent.
Okay.
To Hawaii.
Okay.
To get married, and we also get this apostille from Hawaii that we can get sent after marriage back to Germany, which is also a kind of cool thing. But it's paperwork.
Yeah.
And it's government work.
Yeah.
And for me, it's still magic how that all happens so smooth.
Yeah.
Because again, it was all in our brains and our imagination. We had this little travel guide of Hawaii, our book, where we managed all the road to Hana and the Manahune caves and this and that and here and there.
And you've only seen it in photos, so it's really just a fantasy land for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so...
That must have been such a magical trip then.
It was.
I love it.
It was. And we felt so great with that. I know when you go to the road of Hana, there's this massive,
I've done it.
This massive tree of life pretty much at the entrance on the left-hand side. And that's where we put our marriage lei in the ocean and donated it to the nature back after get married.
Love it.
And it was all super, super cool stories.
So cool.
And this, what brings you together?
Yeah.
With your wife, with your friends. And
well, that's part of your path to here right now.
Exactly.
To this particular moment.
Exactly.
Recording this podcast.
Yeah.
Because if you go back to where it all started, right, it's all that butterfly effect.
Exactly.
Which I'm such a proponent, or not a proponent, but it fascinates me to think about. It only took one thing to change your mindset, right?
Fully.
Put you in this place where you say, this is what I want to do now. This is where I want to go. And then it eventually led you to this thing. And through the series of those events, you're sitting here in front of me.
Exactly.
Love it.
That what all brings me to this landing pad.
To here.
Yeah. By my way of, Tiki also means traveling, exploring.
Yeah.
But in a way...
We wouldn't know each other if it's not for Tiki.
No, exactly.
Right.
But in a way to meet friends. So wherever you are involved into Tiki. So I can come to a Tiki bar, and if I get notified as a Tiki guy, I instantly come into contact with other people, and we are talking Tiki. And it's like a welcome sign you have.
Sure.
It's like a society you are in.
Yeah.
But it's a non-formal society. You don't have to do anything. You're just traveling, and then you get into interaction. And it's also with we have a few Tiki places in Europe, but same like in America and all other places. Bars closing, bars open up, and you never know. It's getting a little bit less.
How far is Cologne from Munich?
Oh, it's about 5 hours.
Oh, so it's far.
Yeah.
I was going to say you have Trader Vic's, but that's in Munich.
Yeah, but I also have to say we have even a better one, which is called the Blume von Hawaii.
Okay.
The flower of Hawaii.
Okay.
This is run by my friend Zach Kommer-Stiegel in Nuremberg, and he is the creator of probably the best creative and traditional tiki drinks all over Europe.
Oh, great.
He's doing a fantastic job, and whoever has the ability to come over to Germany, it's worth more to stop in Nuremberg than probably in Munich.
So for our listeners, we'll put a link to him in our description. Speaking of which, I just made a blood punch. This is the drink that's in your book.
Yeah, in the Squeezed Up.
Yeah, in Squeezed Up. The recipe's there. I hold this recipe quite secret. That's the first time I've ever given it to anybody. It was for your book.
And I know what it means to me.
But you should know, I have not made this drink since before pandemic. So I don't know how this is going to taste right now. So be gentle with me.
It's a fantastic drink, and it inspired me so much. I did it so many times in Germany because I love it.
Okay.
And I really have the first taste still in my mouth.
Okay, well, I hope this is... I haven't even tasted it. I just made it and poured it. So here you go. Cheers.
Here we go. Cheers. Oh.
I was scared to make it too sweet, so I put a little bit of club soda in it, but it's still good.
The club soda helps.
Balances it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helps the fashionola to get exposed.
That's the thing, is the fashionola. Do you get that in Germany at all?
No.
Fashionola?
I always grab it here.
Yeah. I have to get it here too.
So there's no other point.
Yeah.
You cannot have it.
Yeah.
It's still the magic ingredient.
It's still the magic ingredient.
Only two guys are doing it. Jonathan English and the... what's the other guy called?
Is it Blair Reynolds who's making fashionola?
Right.
Yeah, B.G. Reynolds. Yeah.
B.G. Reynolds.
But I don't know how traditional his is. I haven't tried it yet. So
me too.
This is... The one we're using in this one is the Jonathan English. It's a different label now.
I like it. I have it. I always...
But I'm noticing it's not as sweet as before, because I remember it being a little bit sweeter. But this is okay. I
love your blood punch.
Oh,
it's
thank
really
you.
a killer drink. I love it. And that's we can participate in tiki. We don't have that many tiki bars, but California is a little bit in paradise of tiki bars.
Yeah,
and not every other state has the same convenience in terms of tiki bars.
And
like
not even
here.
just California, Northern California.
Yeah.
I counted. I think they have maybe 24 between Smuggler's Cove and Trader Vic's and Forbidden Island and I mean I can go on and on and on.
Exactly.
They have so many up there.
Yeah.
And we have a few here in California, but we're in Southern California, but we're losing them too. Our Trader Vic's closed down. We had two here. We had one in LA Live near Staples Center, and then we had one in Beverly Hills at the Beverly Hilton. Both of them closed. We lost the Bahuka. We just lost Lono in Hollywood.
Yes.
So between those, that's already 4. I don't know when Clifton's Pacific Seas is going to reopen.
This is another bad story.
We haven't had them in a while, since pre-pandemic also.
Yeah.
So we're losing them slowly.
Not to forget our Don.
And Don the Beachcomber. Yeah.
So
yeah, that was a big hit.
That was a big hit.
Yeah.
We also lost a view. We lost the Trader Vic's in Düsseldorf. We lost to Trader Vic's in Berlin.
Wow.
We have it now in Munich.
Hey, can I ask you about Berlin?
Yes.
Because I was in college when the wall came down.
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing we're about the same age, so you remember all of that.
Of course.
How crazy was that?
That whole Berlin thing was really super crazy, because you have to imagine you're having an island, it's called West Berlin, in the middle of an eastern country, which is named similar, but it's
not to get into politics or anything.
No.
I'm just curious. Because now Berlin is one of the most metropolitan cities in the world.
No, I just would like to tell, it has nothing to do with politics. It was an island surrounded by a foreign sea, let's say like this.
Yeah.
And then things came together. The wall was falling down, which was honestly a political thing.
Sure.
And this was a thing that East and West came closer.
Yeah.
And Berlin gets melted together, and we still have a tiki bar in Berlin. Another tiki bar just closed, and things went all too good, if you ask me.
Okay.
So it's a super cool, vibrant, open city. So if you want to see whatever interest you find it there.
Yeah.
There's, by the way, a super cool museum of anthropology, which is a little bit outside, with an exceptional grade.
And how far is Berlin from Cologne?
6.5 hours.
What? So Cologne is far from everything.
It depends.
Okay, Stefan, I'm trying to be conscious of time for you.
Yeah.
So I don't want to. I want to be respectful of your time.
It's fine, but
okay.
In here, time gets forgotten.
I know, right? It always is. I can make cocktails for hours, and we could just talk for hours.
Yeah, and even if we hang out together, because that, bars get forgotten.
Yeah.
But there will be new bars, but they're still old friends.
Yeah.
And even returning friends, and this makes it all so cool and tiki to me.
Yeah,
and even if we don't have this tiki culture in Germany, it's not a localized thing. And I'm traveling.
Sure.
And you find your tiki bar in Japan. You find your tiki bar in Hong Kong. You even have guys with home tiki bars, and we find our place.
So I want to say this before we wrap this up. I want to say, number one, I also want to thank Sven for writing the Book of Tiki. Because if he didn't do that, it would not have led you to here exactly right now. That path is how you got here.
Exactly.
But I also want to thank our friend Shane, because Shane reached out to me when he needed a place to store your car, and he trusted me. So I wanted to show him that he can trust me. If he's going to ask me to trust me with your car, I'm going to do my best to make sure that you felt that, I could be trusted. So thank you, Shane, for introducing us, and thank you for trusting me with your absolutely perfect traditional hot rod. And, this tiki thing or not, I'm thankful that we're friends.
Me too. Thank you so
friends
much.
Across continents, friends across the globe and different countries.
Yeah.
And you know how excited I was to see you at Oceanic Arts. I was so happy. I'm so glad that you're here. And if I'm going to be selfish, I can't wait for you to become a Californian.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We are working hard on that.
So we can do more of this.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And we can record more podcasts, or not even, who cares if we're recording a podcast, if we can just hang out,
That's correct. No, it doesn't need to be always a podcast, but I think this is all a story that needs to be told, and especially with the market, Tiki Tea, and everybody's questioning about, and I think that people just should know it's not done by purpose, it's just done by luck that the 61 just showed up as as a number on a mug.
Sure.
And I also we have to thank you, our friend Shane, who is also an exceptional, great tiki archaeologist. And there's so many good things in terms of tiki coming up. And I heard there will be an exhibition at Catalina Island.
I heard that too.
That would be also a killer thing.
I've heard that too. And I don't know if I could share much of it, so I'm not going to at this point. But yeah, there's something coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some stuff coming, and there are some urban archaeologists working on it and making it happen. And so we have great people around, and I hope that Tiki will not never become a drinking community, and I feel Tiki has to stay as it is now, as a really Ohana community where people coming together and just having a good time and really remembering the past and conservating and don't feel to be important or more important than they are. And that's, for me, that's Tiki, and that's why we made the book, and I have to thank you so much for coming.
I love it. Well, thank you for coming. So before we wrap things up, is there anything that you want to promote? Can we put a website out there, Squeezed Up, anything like that?
Yeah, we have Squeezed minus or dash up.
Okay. Squeezed-up.com.
So this,
and I'll put links in the description for everybody out there so they can just easily click on the link.
Yeah, so you will see there is a lot of Tiki involved in that book because it was part of the road trip.
Okay, great. And for our listeners out there, thanks again for listening to another episode of Inside the Desert Oasis Room. If you would like to listen to our archive, you can find that at desertoasisroom.com. Our friend Stefan and the rest of the Squeezed Up crew is on a previous episode. I'll put that in the description below as well. I'll put a link there for you guys. And if you guys want to follow our adventures, you can check us out on youtube.com/Polynesian Pop. And check out our Patreon as well, patreon.com/Polynesian Pop. This was a good day. What is it? A Tuesday? Tiki Tuesday.
It's a Tiki Tuesday.
Tiki Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right. So I love it. I'm going to see you at the auction this weekend.
Of course. I will be around.
All right.
There's a double meaning, as I told you before. Or see any guards.
That's right.
Special thing.
All right, party people. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers and aloha.
Aloha.